Hello, Midnight Coders, and welcome. Today we are going to be reviewing some of my own embarrassing code. So, just while we kind of warm up here a little bit for the live stream, while I started this project, I'm a little bit of a RuneScape fan, if you don't know. Um, I played the game for 20 plus years. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So in 2023, I had begun looking at this little side project in a RuneScape community, where I was just working on the uh, sort of a Discord bot that was a fun little idle game that you could just go away for a week, go away for an hour, sorry, come back for after an hour, do some things, and I was gonna RuneScape theme it, so it would be kind of like an idle RuneScape game for Discord. That was the idea. It was how it started. And so I started without any kind of initial planning. I just thought, let's just dive into this. Let's just go off the cuff, no planning. I know what I want to do. I can do this. And that was my downfall. So that was the start of the end. So um I had started and continued down this um journey of I want to do this. I've written a few bots in the past, so I had an idea of how I wanted to set up a bot, do this, and I've used executor services before to schedule at fixed rates of things, so that I was able to essentially have this like internal clock going. And like I thought I was good. I was like, yeah, okay, I got this. I got this. We can do this. I can write this, no problem. Simple executor, single executor service. We'll call that game thread. Doodle do, boom, boom, boom. And I mean, I started out with, and this has been through many different flavors and different revisions over the years. Um, and so I started it all out. It was this monolithic project in one code base. And then I decided I wanted to break it apart. And then I tried making it into separate projects. And then that was annoying. So then I merged it. I made it back into one project. And but when it started out as just an idle bot, it was a fun little game. It was simple, dead ass easy. Um, you did a slash command to go to work, came back from work, you got a chance at some loot, some RuneScape themed items, yada yada. And it was how I started, and it was good. It was fun. Um, it took me about a year to get it into something that was like playable, and at that point I had like myself and two other people that were like doing this little thing where you can send yourself off to work every hour. And it was there's a popular Discord bot, old school bot, if you happen to have heard of it. Um I was very inspired by that bot, as well as by RuneScape, as well as by my own sessions. And so I started out with the idle bot, and it eventually became something that I wanted to do something in between. I wanted to be able to pass the time and play. Um, so then it led me into being able to start out just being able to throw dice and gamble with my friends, kind of in between. So it became this idle bot that now I could idly earn money, and now I could use that money to throw dice and gamble against a friend. And that was how the bot started. Um, Once I realized that I could like do these embed messages and I could update them, and I was able to um, um, I was able to use my executor thread to not only help me run a time in behind, but also each game tick, which in my case was 1 second. Um, I was able to also edit the existing um, embed message. So I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. So I can change the text and change all this, kind of like a swapping out a sprite for another sprite to make a bit of an animation. I thought that's kind of cool. Um, and so uh, I just kept running with it and rolling with it and rolling with it. And so made this thing where I could now I now had about 10 of us that could that were sitting around gambling each other while playing this thing in a small RuneScape community, throwing dice while we were playing the game. We were also idly playing this thing that I was developing, and it was fun. It was you could challenge each other and whatnot and do that. And then I kept thinking I was working on this other project where I was making it so that I could have a minion in game, and my minion could do this, that, and the other thing. I could send it on an adventure, and I could also send it to level up this and level up that and work on its own thing, and I could collect this, and it was a fun little thing. And then I kind of thought about merging the two, and I realized, why didn't I just make? And anyway, that's sort of how like my little Rune Hero bot started. And then I realized I can just use embed messages to represent the different tabs of the window that I have open, so to speak. If I was tabbing through RuneScape's little side red bars, like which one of those panels would open? I thought, okay, that'd be an easy embed message to mimic one-to-one of those. So after I did that, I thought, huh, it'd be kind of easy to just display a list of everything, like a text-based dungeon crawler. Like, this is everything you can do in this region. I thought, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to Lumbridge and see what I can do. And then I realized, then it sort of snowballed from there, and it became this thing where I started adding more buttons to do more this and more that, and traverse here and go further. And um, it was it was really fun. It was really fun. I again, it eventually evolved into this thing that it is now, where you can explore the entire, you can travel across all of the neighboring regions based on where you're at. All of the free to play map. You can do some of the dungeons, not all of them. I still need to do Edgeville's dungeon, as so that it also connects to the Varrock sewer if you have agility and all this and that. So there's little things there that I'm still working on throughout the project, but it is and has been a pleasure to write. The only problem is, looking back at it, it was great then. Now that I've moved it up from Java 17 to Java 25, there's a lot of new things that I wish I had have done, or wish it was easier for me to just simply upgrade to do. And so by writing this off the cuff with no planning, no scalability, no future plans, here I am 2 years later with leaps and bounds in the technologies for the ecosystem of Java. So I want to take advantage of those in this project, but also the the library that I use. This is the other reason. Um, the library I use has made leaps and bounds. Discord has made leaps and bounds since I started this, and now there's a whole new major version of the JDA, or Java Discord API, which is a library I use. Um, I was heavily reliant on their old one, which now they made leaps and bounds, and I tried to make an upgrade to it, just thinking it'd be quick and simple. Um, but it wasn't quick and simple, and it actually ended up turning into being a bit of a nightmare. And it made me realize just how much technical debt I had put myself in, given that I have absolutely um, I have absolutely I had absolutely no other ways to do it, because I thought I had no other ways, but I didn't do it properly. I didn't think it through. I didn't mark it down. I didn't write it out. I didn't plan it. I just wrote it off the cuff. It worked. It was working. Snowballed. It grew. I eventually had about 33 players, somewhere around there, when I peaked, that actually played the Rune Hero bot when I had it in its first alpha state, when I had absolutely wide open ideas on what I was doing. Nothing was solidified. So again, it was an alpha. Um, Now I'm actually ready for it to be in a beta phase, because I got things a little more structured. The only problem is I have things visually structured. We're going to pull back the hood and see just how held together with duct tape this is. Um, there is very poor use of just about everything you can imagine. Um, some of you might look at it and think that it's a great project and then think, "Wow, it works, it's amazing." But really, it's a project that's kind of been keeping me up at night, and it's been bothering me that I'm still working on the code base, and it's still as poor as it is. There is a lot of not my best moments when it comes to decision choices and ways to do things, especially when it came to the packaging of things. Like right now, my Discord bot, the actual like Discord bot module, is technically also handling my game engine logic and my actual game logic, which it shouldn't. Those should be separate. Those should be off in their own, if anything, in their own module, so that they're handling their own problems. Not the actual, not my actual Discord bot. Um, and again, there's a lot of other choices and poor choices that I made, and limits and rate limits that I'm going to be hitting. And so the point of today is to take a step into the code base and take a look at some of these poor choices, maybe talk about why I did them and what the trade-offs were at the time. But also, I'd like to kind of touch base on a little bit about what I can do better, where I can improve on this. And I'd honestly like to see if I could take a moment and improve on this over stream. Maybe we'll talk about the poor decision and talk about what can be done uh, to improve upon it. Okay, so let's take a look at the project. Let's up the display. We'll get rid of this. Throw me down on the. Oh, throw me down here. There we go. All right, so this is my Rune Hero project, and this is the first thing that disgusts me about it is my poor choice of packaging. So I did not use any real kind of thing. It was kind of a, if you will, an MVC design, if anything, where I got like the different models and the views, but like it should have been feature based, if anything, in my opinion, where I should have had things like inventories up here and broken them down into like backpack equipment, yada yada, and then like, and then this should have been broken down into, yeah, this my models for everybody's storage is just in one place. Like my controllers, like there should those should not those I feel should be broken down into again feature based category. Like all of this should be broken into features, I feel, and then that way everything is within its own ecosystem and its own sort of its own little purpose of scope. Um, Now, if you guys ever had a code base yourself that you're kind of embarrassed of, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know what your embarrassing moments are, because we're gonna kind of reveal my own, and we're gonna talk about a few of my own. And I'd be curious to see and hear about your own guys or your own opinions. Maybe as we go through here, if you guys are in the live chat, feel free to throw a message in there and interact. We'll take a look and see what maybe you can probe me on why I did something that I did, because there's a lot of by the looks of it, this is going to be a bumpy ride. Because this is just the main source code. So what this is here, what this whole section is the back end. This is the part that contains like database connections. This is the part that like has all of the APIs and um, where the bot itself communicates to this. My administration dashboard also communicates with the back end. So yeah, and the API is just something that is kind of common. Um, so it's a module that both of these use, and these were were I forget submodules. Yes, the submodules. of the main project. The API and the bot were brought in. They are separate projects, which is why, yeah, this is just pieced together to look like one project, which I do through Git modules. All right, so this could be heavily refactored and, yeah, broken into features, and that's just the back end. Dashboard is not as bad from what I remember. It again could be broken into features. It's broken into this whole thing could be done up into features realistically. But like, I don't have that many. Yeah, okay, I guess this all is just. Yeah, okay, no, I guess. Okay. Oh, I don't like it, but okay. We'll dig into the code part later. Right now, I just want to look at the packaging and see just what a nightmare it all is. So this is the bot project here. So this one here again handles Discord, it handles the game engine, and it handles the game logic as well as utilities, which should be technically a part of the other API. I feel like this um, game aspect, the game logic should be put out in its own module for game. And then the engine, I feel, also should be done. Should be put apart, into its own module, just so that I feel, I don't know. All right. So like this has some networking handled in with the engine. It's got its core processes, which I don't like either. Um, oh, there's a lot that I could be rewriting about this. But we're going to review some of the code and see just how bad that is. These buttons could probably be implemented a little bit better as well and like packaged into more features because they're kind of just all stuck into one big ass list, but they're all just a bunch of button implementations, which again, this could also, I wish that I could make this a sealed class or a sealed interface and then just tell it that everything in this package, because all of these basically extend a rune hero button, which is this down here, and they all implement the Discord button, which is just this, which I wish I could just easily make into a sealed class, but I can't. Um, the rune hero button is just a way for me to make a passive check to see if the player is first off not busy, because if they are, we don't let them do any activity while they're busy. It's just repetitive stuff that you can't do when you're clicking buttons. Um, we'll dive into the individual codes, the code of some of these buttons and implementations. We have different slash commands. There's only 2 of them, but they're here. And again, I might turn this into a sealed interface because there's not that many buttons. I just wish that I could do something like sealed interface and permits and just provide a package. Because like right now, I would also need to turn this into a sealed class. Turn this guy into a sealed class. And we're going to come in here, we're going to turn this to a sealed interface that permits these two. You. And why are you? Oh, right, because you need to be in the same package. That's the other thing I don't like, is the fact that they can't be in. There we go. All right, now what are you crying about? Oh, make it not sealed. Just make it final. That works too. Okay, I'll make it final. Mm. So sealed interfaces are definitely one of the things that I do want to use, which is where we're going to get into. Um, I'm probably just going to drop this interface into here and change all of these. This might be just easier for me to just drop this in here and then into here. This is going. Uh, it's my first age not getting. Let's just again. I wish there was an easier way to import like everything in one thing. Because this guy final. No, that's not even the. Which ones are in? Okay, now these. So why is my interesting? Let's move you out. Back where. Well, these are being just called. Oh shit, they're not. Okay, they're. What the hell was I doing? Damn. What was I? So why is that not just implement? Oh, because I have these static. What the hell? What was I thinking? You know, supposed to also. Oh yeah, like how I move it. Why you in? Uh, so down here. Oh, backpack. Dashboard. Is this even? Okay, what else use you? This is you. No way, I can just do that. Is that even easier? Can I just call that one non-sealed? This. Messages. That's even easier. Cool. So, okay, so now all of these come out of here. That's just gonna make like this and missing clauses. Why can't you pick up on the missing clauses? Sealed class permits clause must subclass. Really? You're not gonna just pick up on that? Really? Okay, cool. Now, why is this one? But now that's why? Why doesn't that not take the superclass? Yet instead, okay, well, this is debt. This is technical debt, son of a gun. Now I gotta add all. So this is one of those moments with again with like technical debt and why people don't like it, and what it is now that I want to upgrade things to a different way of being. um I need to go through way too many implementations that I have. Okay, well, let's start here. I did this one, right? This one's good now, yeah. Okay, cool. So now this guy, add the clause, cool. This guy, final. Yeah, okay, this guy. Okay, that was the equipment. So now we're into here. Cool. Profile. Cool. Skills. Cool. And work. Should be all of them. Okay, so now what am I missing? Missing sub. What? Okay. You are extended where? Messages, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. What the hell? Okay. Which ones am I forgetting there, IntelliJ? This guy uses it? Look at that. Right. Oh, this extends this. This. No way. Why would that? Oh, you're throwing that shit because the. You with fields is just this, that, there, which is. Okay, so. What's this? So why don't I just make this private? Oh. Huh, huh. So maybe that was the reason I didn't do this with that one. But at the same time, why is this? Why is shift work in the player? Why is it in with the player? What? Why is shift work? Okay, okay, wait, let's see why that was in with the. Yeah, it's in with the entity. Mm. Yeah, no, you can't do that. Can't do that. What is another way? Uh, ooh, just like that. Nice. Okay, there. So now the reason I can do that is because the embed manager implements the Discord the messengers interface here. And this one is permitted. However, this is a class and it's non-sealed, so it's not final, meaning it can be extended. So because I can then extend this in that shift work class, it's all happy now. I don't have to use the implementation of this. So that's a win. Okay, cool. So now I want to double check that this is still going to clean and build. Make sure I didn't break anything dramatic. Sorry about that. I replied to one of the people in Discord there. So here we are trying to see if it rebuilds. Make sure it compiles. Cross our fingers. Drink some coffee. Aww. Oh, okay. That's just poor imports. Okay. 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 So what is it? Control Alt O. Yes. Optimize imports. Everything. Optimize all their imports. Okay. Now what menu is broken? Oh, in here. What do we got going on here? Get embed message. That is because this bad boy now needs to extend embed. No. There we go. So I feel like that is going to be a common problem across a few of these. So let's see where else this fails. Okay. Okay, so this is failing to... Interesting. So I'm just going to extend this. Or, yeah, okay. Yeah, do that. Where else did this fail out at? Here. Here. Ease. Okay, so this is going to be a particular problem. Wait, is it? I don't know. Okay, let's do another clean build before I start getting myself confused here. Hey, dude, what's up? Yeah, dude, I code a little bit with AI if I'm doing something like CSS because my CSS is very outdated. But generally, I actually take pleasure in coding with Node AI. It's kind of therapeutic. Welcome to the chat, though, dude. Welcome to see you here. Mhm. Oh, so okay, so this needs to extend inventory. Inventory is going to extend this. Da 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 da. There we go, there we go. That should make us happy. Now I can take you and get rid of you. All right. All right. See, I believe AI has its place if you know what you're doing and like myself, like I've got 20 years experience with Java. I've been toying with it for a long time. I take great did that just build? Cool. All right. So I take great pleasure in coding. I find it's very peaceful, very kind of therapeutic in a way. I just happen to have a lot of technical debt because I wrote a lot of this off the cuff and as I went, and like, yeah. Honestly, if you were to look back at all of my streams, there's I think I did maybe one or two streams where I let AI. No, I did one stream where I let AI take the wheel and kind of saw what it could do because I was personally curious to what it could do. But I I love the code. It's very therapeutic. Yeah, I use again if I'm writing like a front end because I'm not a front end developer. So if I do like a front end app for myself, if I did it for somebody else, I would not do use AI. That's just kind of a moral I hold myself to. But like if I'm doing it for myself, I'm curious. So I don't like to do things like HTML. I'm not very good at it. I've been learning it over the last 6 years with the help of Spring Boot. Um, and I think that Time Leaf really helped me get a better grasp on liking HTML. Time Leaf is, of course, just an HTML rendering engine. But however, I think that it's very helpful in the sense of I hate front end development. Actually, the front end bot here the front end that I made for this, um, I had AI do the CSS for me because I am an absolute terrible style. I can describe what I want perfectly, but I can't write the CSS. I never got into it. Um, it was never a thing that was up my alley. Okay, so that did actually build, right? Let's do another clean build just for paranoia. I mean, yeah, like if I'm going to use AI for anything, like I'm going to physically build the back end myself, and then I'm going to build as much as I can. And what I do is I then tell AI, all right, I need a web page that does all of this based off my back end. I let it generate it for me, and then I go dive into the code that it wrote, and I'm like, okay, what from my knowledge, what the hell did it do that is not what I want? And I kind of try to review it, and I try to not only just review it, but I try to learn from it because I don't like doing JavaScript. I don't like doing CSS. So I get AI to usually generate my JavaScript and my CSS for me so that I can review it, learn from it. And I've honestly it's been a nice little refresher to have somebody else slap together some JavaScript so that I could kind of read it, so to speak. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but like I had to compare. Cool. So that did wind up building. Cool. So now let's see what other that was where the hell were we? That was commands, I think. Nope. That was embeds. Let's go into my listeners. There's not much in here. The listeners are not my best. Like this. Oh my god. This is this is embarrassing, okay? This this is embarrassing. But the reason I did it this way is because when I when I put the trigger word or like the ID of the button, I also add on the ID of the user that the button or the interaction was generated for. So I always want to make sure that it starts with this text and then I trim the next bit off once I go into the actual handler. So this was something that was started out and it was fine when it was like three different things that I was doing. But as it grew, this became more and more of a problem for me because right now, if I still want to add more to this as I go, and clearly I am, I just added smithing a couple days ago. I still have to come in and do the same stupid pattern. And I'll just be honest, I haven't thought of a better way to do it yet. I just straight up have not thought of a better way to do it yet. But I'm guilty of it for here. I'm guilty of it in models. I'm guilty of it in my menu listeners, and I'm this one's not as bad because this one I could technically use a switch statement if it gets bigger, but I've only got two commands, so I really didn't care. Um, but but yeah, no, my select menu and the button because the button this game is basically button heavy and select menu heavy, making choices and clicking actions, and as a result, this is a huge bit of technical debt that I don't like, and I know this can be written a lot better. I just have yet to write it better. And I really need to think of a better way to handle this because honestly, like it's kind of anxiety inducing to like open this up and then have to scroll through all this. Like I wish that there was a an easier way where I could theoretically snipe the if I was able to I don't even have this into I can't even just say like because like I have two underscores in this one. I've got three underscores in things like these ones and like I wish there was an easier way that I could technically just strip. Oh, I guess I could do that. Okay. So I could strip the button ID of everything not numerical because Discord uses, and this is heavily hoping that Discord stays using it, but Discord uses string, like ID numbers, like an integer or like not an integer, like a long, as their thing that they use for their ID numbers. So I wonder um, if I strip this of all alphanumeric special characters and leave just the number, I can cache that early enough that I can say this is the user that it was made for, and then just transition over. Oh, I still have to trim it after X. Oh, yeah, no, I need a better way to do this because I've got more buttons that need to get added in. I've got like new skills and things that get added and like new select menus that are going to get added in here and options and I really need a better way to do this. But again, the idea was to have the name and the ID of the person that the event was created for so that like when we come in here, I then take the ID as the string by stripping the first trigger keyword off of the string that came in, and then I just parse that as a long to get me the user so that I can check to see if the ID is equal to that of whoever it is that clicked on this event so that I can make sure that this happens for that specific person the button was created for. And that's basically the same pattern I do for every single button and every single interaction. Um, every interaction has the same similar setup where I'm always checking to see this top hit. And I know that there's a better way to do this. I could I could come in and make this an actual like extend a selection. I could have a parent class that is set up with maybe a trigger keyword and whatnot, and I can filter through to see if the interaction contains the. I there's definitely better ways to go about this, and there's definitely better ways that I should have done this. Hmm. Okay. Well, let's continue on the adventure of, well, this menu, for example, could also be sealed. So I believe these 16 implementations are all in the same menus implementation. Um, okay. Um, what if I so what if I did this? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Just take this. s- This. Now let's see if this will work or if I am just shooting out my ass. Okay, so this guy is going to be sealed for now, and I'm going to permit selection action. Okay, okay, yeah, okay, perfect, perfect, cool. So that works. So let's go and do this with the rest of these. Okay, so okay, ooh, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna try something with this eventually. Right now, I need to just get this cleaned up. Shoot, it's another one. Okay. Other one. Okay, so those three need to be treated differently. These three. So what if I... Why do... I don't even think I need that. Whatever, unused. The hell am I calling this from? What? Okay. Okay, so why am I not... So why am I passing the owner in there to this? Why the hell is this just not... Why? Okay, so why is this not that? And then just... Now I got owner. Owner I'm getting from here. Um, oh, so it's event. Sorry. ID. Okay, okay. So let's close out of all these things. This I need out. This one I need. This is going that. It's supposed to be over there. This is okay. Here, sealed, everything somewhat secure. Okay, so now let's go and make sure that this still works as or still compiles. Let's go throw another clean and build. Now while this builds, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go top up my coffee cup. At that, it looks like it compiled. Cool. So now we'll throw another commit interfaces to the select menus. Just doing these little quick little commits so that I know that. Geez, that's only got the one thing. Is that even worth it? Of course, we're already on a roll. So this is an embed manager. .l format. Yeah, okay, so this. Fine, make your final CC whatever way. Just don't be extended. Do another clean build, make sure it still works. Okay, still builds. There we go, still builds. Okay. Builds and works are two different things, so still builds. Okay. So there's that little bit of stuff done. Now let's take a look at the engine, the model, containers. We've got a store. Why is like all of my just notice I've organized? There we go. Okay. You know what? Just give me a quick second here to go over the entire project. Organizing the imports for all of my projects, or for all of the project. Yeah, just get that done and over with. Sorry, I got a thing where if my imports are messy, I kind of obsess. All right, so we're looking at the store. So this is an abstract store. Some of this stuff should definitely not belong in the store, and it should be potentially lifted out. Like, okay, let's see here. So an abstract store extends an inventory and it implements a shop interface or a shop client. The shop client is just how we network out to the back end to communicate. So this just simply gets in touch with a REST client that we have, which comes out of the network client interface, which is our RESTful client. That allows me to now create other interfaces which extend here, which again, I feel like this is good as it is for now. Um, and then we come in here, this shop one extends the parent, which now allows me to which yeah allows me to now just simply say I want to go out and get this here from here and return it. Um, this I feel like is very clean right now. I don't think there's anything. Let's pop into the network clients. I don't think there's anything I'm going to change with this network client for the shop because it looks like it's fairly simple, straightforward. I do notice that I'm using this log up here. So one thing I want to keep an eye on going down the chain is if I'm using that log in other places which extend this parent. So let's take a look at the hero storage client. This guy's also taking in the network client as I expected, but it also again is using the log. So I might see about just making the log into the parent and then see about just kind of using it going forward. So let's set up uh, we're going to set up a logger here. And for the sake of it, I'm actually going to call this guy logger so that I can distinguish between them when I start calling them in other clients. So let's pop back into the shop client first and let's take a look at this. I'm going to see if I can just get rid of this so that now I can delete this because there's no need of me reusing that if I already have a logger created, especially if it's within the inheritance. So now we're going to come to this one and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get rid of this logger in favor of the parent logger, which is still pulling in a log from somewhere, I assume the hero client. Yes, so hero client also extends this network client. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because this is now a logger. So again, if I pop back in here, this guy should now also be presenting. Whoop, here we go. Now I could have just named this log in the parent class and just gone through and deleted this, but I wanted to physically go through and seed these individual use cases. So again, we're in here. This is a pretty big class. Um, so this one takes the network client and the hero client, which is something else I wanted to address because I noticed it in here as well, where it takes in the hero and the network. Um, so as you see down here, network client is the base. And if we take a look at hero client extends the network client. So looking at this, there's no need of me having redundancy in here, just like the logger as well. So going through and cleaning this up, we'll continue this with our logger. And that's the it for logging. We'll come through and address the code that's in here in just a moment. But now I can also come in here and get rid of this network client I because there's no need of me redundantly having that when I'm extending something which already extends that. So again, this is little pieces of technical debt that kind of trickled throughout the years that stuck around without me even knowing, which is sort of a problem. So now let's also take a look at our hero equipment client, because I assume this is the same thing. Yes. So again, we can get rid of this, and we also got rid of the log. So now we have to update where we're referencing our logs. Perfect. So next, let's go take a look at our hero backpack client and take care of the same. There. So now, something that I did notice throughout this is that all of these could have been simply condensed into just a hero package, maybe where the hero client it goes in and yada yada yada. But anyway, we're not. I could address that. I probably should address this where I have network and then say hero. Um, let's address these logs first. Here we go. So now the hero, everything hero related can all drop into the hero package. Okay. Now that I have everything in the hero package, I can turn around and say this is a sealed interface and that it permits all of these individuals. Um, so now we're going to come down. I'm just going to drop this here so that we can list out. And this is just personal preference on how I'm doing this. Um, I just have a way of like when I have too many things that are too large, I need to sort of straighten things out. There we go. So this is going to be here, and now I just need to come back into all of my hero clients um, and simply just mark these as sealed themselves. Um, so let me come into here. Just going to make all of these sealed. Okay. So now that all of these are sealed, I am not 100% sure where we have these that extend. Oh, so hero storage implements this. The heroes. Okay. So these this needs to be. Does that need to be non-sealed? No. Maybe the clients need to be non-sealed. Yes, that's what it is. My mistake. These guys needed to be non-sealed. Oh, shoot. Okay. So these select action implements hero client. Okay. So I need to make it. Okay, so that needs to be. This can't be sealed. Shoot. Well, just because it's not sealed anymore does not mean. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Okay, whatever. We'll optimize in better ways. Oh, jeez. Yes, I am so sorry, dude. I honestly thought I was zoomed in more than that. I usually am. I usually zoom in a lot more when I stream. I am so sorry. That was just how I usually write it for myself when or code with my code for myself is on I've got a big screen, so I usually use up all the real estate. I forget that I need to zoom in when I do these code reviews. However, I am going to be going over more of the individual code soon. I'm just going over some of the different implementations and making sure that I got things cleaned up as far as I guess code practice goes. All right, so in here in this inventory class, we set up a store which can contain 12 items at max. And again, I don't like that. Let's go into the inventory because I don't like the fact that I got, okay, where are we with my abstractedness? Abstractedness. All right, so I'm going to make a protected abstract integer get max item slots. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come into here. And I can't call that with a, oh, that's right. No, that's why I got that. All right, so that's just gonna have to be a magic, no, or not a magic number. Um, shoot. Okay. What's got errors? Why do we got errors? Why do we got errors? Let's e-commerce? No, this is not an e-commerce project, although I do have one. This is an RPG game built on a Discord embed messages and Discord platform. Um, I did actually write a full out e-commerce where you could essentially open up a store in Discord, and through the use of embed messages and buttons, you could add things to your cart. You could purchase online goods. That's what I missed was the other rest of the errors. These are supposed to be logger. Mm, this one I should have. So we're gonna go with log dot replace with logger dot replace all. There we go. And let's do another clean build. Yeah, the whole thing is a Discord bot. I was inspired by old school RuneScape, and ultimately it became it started out as an idle RPG game or an idle game where I would just like send my thing off to do work for an hour and then come back and do the same thing over. And it jeepers. I was I that buried in the logger that I was using it through all what? Wow. Wow. 3:20 a.m. It is 5:30 PM for me. Quite the opposite side of the world. Surprised how deep those loggers ran. Ah, you're from Asia. Hello from the past. I assume that I assume it's leaning on to the 25th of January for you then, where it's still the 24th for me. All right. Okay. So let's check out inventory because there's some of this that's not sitting right. Doors do have a max of 12, so I do want to uh, private final next. Sorry. Really, I still can't access that before a super is called? What? But yet you'd let me do this, wouldn't you? Whatever. I just wanted to get rid of the magic number. Okay, so then add all from stocks into the stock. Check to see if we have it. Store ID, store name. Opening the store. So when we open up the store, it pops open an embed message. I feel like these buttons are this, this could definitely be done better. Here are my goods. Stream items. Item, builder. That adds the fields. This is just the buttons on the bottom. Okay, so I feel like I could just return this. That I feel is better. Okay, that's better there. Okay, this is the being presented with the select menu. Okay, this is being presented with the sale menu, which is the exact same thing that it's just one is selling, one is buying. Okay, then I've got what do I got here? So get the product, purchase. So this is again just okay. That's just the select menu. Getting the stock. Okay, I'm not angry with any of this. Okay, I'm not upset with this at all. Okay, so say what do we do here? Removed or defined, technically. Find the X amount, number, and externalized. Cool. All right, now let's dive into the individual stores here and take a look and see what, now that we poked at what a store is, um, let's take a look at a Bob's Axis store. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought, was it was dead easy. Um, now, general, are all of these stores are essentially the same damn thing. So I feel like this could have been done in a different manner, but I'm not angry with that. I'm actually okay with that. Screw it. We're gonna leave that alone. Okay. So inventories. Wait, what? Why did I do it this way? Okay, whatever. So these are inventories, not implementations of containers, because the store is also an inventory, and yeah. Um, so an inventory is just simply a way of, and this, why has this got a blank item? Don't need that. Extra overhead. Okay, so max items, inventory capacity, which is, yeah, okay. So I could have done this better. Could have done this better. Where I thought I could put that, okay, so let me, protected abstract integer, get max inventory capacity. So max items equals this. Okay. So now in here, doesn't matter. Bob's axis, on the other hand, yes, but no, it's this. Shit. Where do I want to put that? In here. Um, Okay, so these are always 12, so now I'm going to set this initial capacity up to 12. Okay, so now hero backpack. Um, there we go. And that's going to be the same for storage and equipment. That's going to 12. Okay. So now I can come back into inventory. That's happy. And I can safely delete this because max is now this. Okay. Now I don't like that big bulky text with max here, so get max items is actually going to return this. This is going to return this. Max items is only ever used here. I want to get rid of that. And ultimately that. There we go. Um, there, I'm happier with that. Yeah, I'm happier with that. This one here, filtering this, find this, or else. Da-da-da. Hmm. Bum, bum, ba, ba. Yeah, I like that so far. And get a blank DPO. I'm not even using that. Well, I mean, if I've built up these inventories and I haven't used this yet, I'm just going to get rid of it. Just going to get rid of it because it's overhead that's not used and there's no point of it. First slot available. I can see that being used. Yeah, okay. Hero storage. Oh yeah, so now let's, don't need the super call. Inventory. So if the inventory, if I already took this in here, call you final, then I can come in here and I don't need this. Ah, then I do. Okay, so I can do that. Hmm, there we go. Okay, okay. So I like that better. So hero backpack's got 24 slots. Da, 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 da. Any match. Da, 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 da. 3 slots. Okay, so could probably be a little bit more logging throughout this, but other than that, I don't hate it. Check if the player has auto equip. Oh yeah, I have to add that setting. Do 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 do. It's not bad. And this is the auto equip function. I really need to break this down because I feel like it's way too far over. It's like some of this needs to be, yeah, like some of this needs to be broken out. Um, it's like there's a lot of, I mean, I'm not really breaking and returning is the problem. Why I have this if, this little if nook. Because like, I mean, if this is false, I don't want to do anything. I want to handle this other stuff instead. But like, theoretically, if the slot is an item, I am checking something here. Then, hmm, yeah, so long as the items match, this probably could have been shrunk out a bit. Or this. Okay, so if I have a class, or if the item is the same thing, or I have no class selected, I want to compare the effectiveness to my current effective. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with that. Screw it. There's nothing really wrong with this. Mhm. And I'm checking to see if I actually equipped the item. Then yeah, no, there's it's long and ugly, but there's nothing wrong with it. And then I send the reply down here. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So that's the backpack. Inventory's alright. Storage, the hero storage. I imagine this is the same idea. Remove item, adding items and replying. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, nothing that I can't complain about anyway. Yeah, I don't see anything I can complain about in here. Not at scale. Not compared to everything I got to go through. Equipment. We have a way to check to see if we equipped a said item. Again, nothing really wrong with that. Way to check to see if we have it. Get the maximum hit, the maximum block. Yeah. Okay. So that was containers. That would be the containers and inventories. Okay. So next, let's dive into the entities. Now we're going to dive into this. This is still part of the game engine's logic. Like it says, this isn't part of like, which is also weird because like these containers are handling things like replying. Like a backpack is handling replying to the actual player. I shouldn't be doing that. This shouldn't be sending any kind of reply. The button should be reaching out to this to do some sort of action and whatnot, return of some result. It should be validating some result, and then it should be coming back. But for right now, I want to highly focus in and kind of hyper focus on cleaning up some of the generic logic that was early ages. And then from there, I'm going to come back again um, tomorrow's review, and we're going to try to see if we could do this better in the sense of breaking it apart and modularizing and separating because we need to handle like we need I need to get this thing working in the sense that it is violating all sorts of different like it's not right. Principle of principles and best practices are out the window. Like things are a nightmare in this base. Um, like your backpack shouldn't even be taking in the event. Like it should be just saying, okay, this happened. Do this for me. Return this result. Do this, and we're going to get into the controllers and like the button aspects, and we're going to be doing more reviews on it. But for now, let's dive into again deeper into our engine, and we're going to look at the entities. We're going to start out with the items. These ones were something that I wrote not that long ago, which is just there's metal bars, which consist of the RuneScape bars. So these are the items that you can smith. Um, Smithing these bars require these ores. So if you have a tin ore and a copper ore, you can make a bronze bar. If you have iron ore, you can make an iron bar. If you have iron and coal, um, you can make steel and so forth. There's more to be added. As you see, I have a couple of to-dos, so there are more to be added in. I just haven't gotten that far. This was part of my smithing upgrade, which I did not that long ago. I think I did this about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I lost a week when I went into the hospital, so it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks. Um, Cold coffee, gotta love it. Um, yeah, and then so in here I have a way to verify that the bar that I have is um, getting the bar by ID, and this there's not much I can be angry about. Oh, excuse me. Smithable items. These are the items that I can make. So if I want to make a bronze, irons, mithril, whatever, axe, bolt, arrow tip, pickaxe, helmet, plate body, these are the items that I can make. These are the amounts that they produce. And the actual smithable metal is I have a bronze metal, which takes a bronze bar, which can produce these items. And that's what I have so far. Um, I am working more on this because I need to add in all these things where you see this and the number is how many. Sorry. The level requirement to make it. And then down here, second map that I pass in is a map of items that can be produced. So if I'm making an axe, I can produce a bronze axe, bronze this, that, and so forth as we scale through here. I did not finish filling in all of the values, so these first ones with the integers, that needs to be corrected. That's supposed to be the level requirement to make said item. I do have to go through and finish that, which will probably be in today or tomorrow's video. But again, I'm not angry with this. There's not much that can be improved upon as far as what this class is trying to do. I have ways to create everything up top, define it all, and then I just simply have ways to search for these based off of the bar ID. Again, nothing extravagant in here. So items, I'm okay with. Mobs. Let's take a look at the mobs. This is where I'm not 100% satisfied with, because there's a few different mobs and such that, for example, my drops, my NPC. Well, let's start in the NPC. Let's start with an NPC. What is an NPC? This is how I've been defining my NPCs right now. This is not something that is sticking. I actually have this changed out and put into a database. I just haven't wrapped up the technical debt yet. So if I was to open up my database, I could come in here and say game NPC, and when this loads, you'll see that I've got basically the same idea or same stuff here. If I was to drop this down on top of the other, there's the NPC ID, which is the ordinal. So there's the name rat, imp, cow, spider, yada yada. Defense level, which is defense level over here. This is the defense level of it. Experience returned is just calculated based off the health times 4. So then there's the health, and of course, the max hit. So I do have all of this put into a database, and this is technically, which I should start doing this more. This is actually deprecated. This has been deprecated since, we're going to say, what is it, 1/24/2026. Sure. So I'm just going to mark that as deprecated for now, because we are going to be eventually getting rid of it, because I do have it saved to a database. Then we can take a look at drop tables. These are the types of drop tables. I don't have anything like written in stone or anything yet, but like these are the types of drop tables. There's an always table, which is guaranteed to drop. There's a common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, so that people can have some variety. Again, I'm not really upset with this. This isn't really bad. Um, I have a drop class, which defines what a drop is. Drop consists of a drop table and a specific item. Why? 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 Okay, so a drop should technically be just like an item, I think, or in a way. Either way, this is not ideal. Um, my whole drop system needs to be reviewed. Like my drop manager, for example, this is ugly. This is ugly. Like I'm talking like this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Why did I do it this way? As you see, I just add to the drop list. So like, so every time an NPC dies, let's go into here. The NPC dies, and I say, okay, get me the list of NPC drops for this mob. This is then going to say, okay, drops, drop manager, fetch the table for this mob, and then roll for the items. So when it fetches the table, it's coming in here and saying, what kind of mob is it? Is it whatever? And for example, is it a Moss Giant? It's going to add a drop list, because the drop list gets created every time it gets new. It's going to create a list, and it's going to add a new common table with this item and this weight. And then it does the same thing, and it adds in essentially a ton of tables rather than adding in one table with a bunch of set items. And again, I'm not proud of this. I'm proud of the game and how it all turned out, but I am not proud of the code. There is so much wrong with this. This is my drop manager, like the way of dropping items, like, and it is horrendous, absolutely horrible. And then I call a sort. So then I take this drop list and I say, okay, for each drop inside of the list, I check to see if it's legendary, and if it is on the drop table legendary, I check to see if the list is null, and if the list is null, I create a new legendary list and I add the drop to it. And that's how I sort through all of these lists. And then I come down here and I check to see, okay, if my legendary list if it does exist, meaning I did land a legendary item, I'll say, here's the list. Like, so here's that list of all legendary items that I have the potential loot to get. And then it's going to take that, put it in a list, sort it by its weight. And then when I call the roll for items, it's going to check to see, okay, is this a legendary item that's not empty? Then it's going to say, okay, random number generator. If this number is less than 1 divided by legendary drop table chance, or the drop table's um, chance, then and only then will we loop over the list and try to roll for each of the items that are on the list. Um, and of course, that's when we're going to add it. So for each item on the list, so this is how you can get more than one item on a legendary list, or on any list. Uh, Once we're inside the list of items, we're going to roll each chance against the weight. If you win, it was added to the loot. We flag it as legendary so we can announce it and celebrate it. Um, Otherwise, we just keep going over the list of items until we've actually successfully landed it, and we do that for all the different types. And that's how my drop manager works right now. It was completely off the cuff. This was written off the cuff. I know that the date on the top says that it was written in 2025, but it wasn't. I actually re-imported 99% of this project from a very, very outdated project, 2023. And some of the original code is still in here, and you'll see it. Whereas other stuff is more from the date that I did the last revision build, which was when I sort of majorly came back on and got it ready for a beta. Which it is technically ready for a beta. People can play it. Just it's turned off right now. If you're actually in my Discord, it's I usually I have this running, and you can just jump into a bot channel, and you can interact and play with it. Okay, so drop tables and NPCs, I'm not really mad about deprecating the NPC in favor of later on. Now, my hero pack or my player package has a hero. This is the actual player. And then there's shift work, which is supposed to be an action or a thing that it's a thing that the player can do is they can go off for work. This is a legacy code. This is something that was written long time ago, and the idea was sending your person off to work, which was where the original game came from. Hero is your actual player model. So this is the actual hero that implements a bunch of different utilities so that it can make up. So when you first create a hero, it takes in a profile DTO, and it sets that up as their working session. Now, this was such a poor decision. Like, I'm very embarrassed with how I with how I did this and handled this and like set this all up in the original thing. This is not an ideal project. It's not an ideal setup to go through, and um, so it was the idea is that everything happens every tick, and so that everything happens every 1 second is a game tick. So every time something happens, a game tick, it creates this. It'll create this new hero object, which is like the player, and so it only keeps track of the player for each game tick. And that's also how it saves the player is within that, again, 1 tick when it comes through and executes things, um, is when it does all of its actions and things. And like that's when I would add experience. I would then add experience, save the player, and then the next game tick I would then be calling upon that new record. And it's really, really poorly managed in the sense of like database calls and caching and um, but the thing is, the thing about it all is that it works. So I never had a reason to come back and collect on my technical debt or cash in my technical debt or look into it. And it wasn't until I decided to come back and upgrade the project from Java 17 to 25, and that I wanted to upgrade it from the current JDA I was using to the latest JDA version, that I realized exactly how much technical debt I had and just how expensive it was going to be to actually do those simple tasks. Where I did get the project to 25 for JDK, I still have not got um, the library up to date because there was a major revision changed, and in so a lot of different things have changed. But the way that I create and handle all of these JDA actions, such as like creating menus, creating this, handling that, is so scattered amongst the project that it's no easy task to just go in, fix imports, correct naming, and make adjustments to things that were deprecated. So what I thought was going to be a simple task, do this, fix some imports, rename a couple files, and we're good, turned out to be something that actually I had to sit down, read through documents, plan out. It took me about 2 days of studying the back about what changed to then even be able to know enough about like knowing my own project. But took me about 2 days of researching logs and change logs on the JDA side about what is different now. So now that I come to try to do this and essentially take out more technical debt on myself, um, Taxman came to say, you got too much going on here that needs to be squared out and sorted because there's too much broken code, poor choices that when I decided, okay, well, I'm just going to make this here so that I can build it here, use it, handle it, pass it in. And that's where these challenges came from and these heartaches came from. For example, you're going to see as we scroll through this hero package, it's supposed to be something that handles the player model and the player interactions. So it should be things that handle that are related to there, but you'll soon see that this has things I believe in it where it's actually taking in events and like replying, and I think, or maybe it's not. No, it's not. Okay, this one's a better one. But like shift work, for example, this one here takes in a button event so that it can actually do the work of replying to the event that came in on a controller. Like my controller level came over here. I've trickled down the chain, but now I'm down here by like level area where I'm now trying to reply to the control. Like this is just all sorts of auto whack. It's all sorts of bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. Um, so that's what we're here to fix today, and that's what I'm trying to kind of mow over. So into our hero here. Um, Again, I'm passing in the hero profile versus fetching it and getting it here. So I'm taking it from somewhere else. Bad idea. Um, when I'm trying to handle adding experience to the player, okay, I take the skill name and the XP, and based on the skill name, I go ahead and I calculate the. This should be handled inside of its own skilling, like skill. There should be a skill, like maybe a skill object inside of the player that handles things like adding the experience to this specific skill and returning whether or not a skill has leveled up or not. Um, because this does all of that, and then it updates the hero record, and then it returns whether the new level. Okay, so this is adding experience and returning whether or not the skill has leveled up. Um, so again, I feel like this should be something that should be stored inside of, um, yeah, this should definitely be lifted out of here. Getters and setters, I'm not angry with this. Getting the player's backpack, getting the player's storage, getting the player's equipment, so that we could get in and then handle those actions. I'm not against that. The shift work, okay. I think I do believe I should have some other things in here for whether or not the player is also a way that I can get, sorry, the player's skill tree, maybe their skills that way. so that I can access and edit access and handle, interact with their skill model a bit. I feel like that might be something that we can refactor today or tomorrow. I've been at this for 2 hours already, so I mean, we might be doing more of this tomorrow. Today was a lot of reviewing about this, and again, some things could be done better. Um, let's take a look at the props. So this one here is supposed to be props. What this was supposed to be was interact or objects in the game that were interactable, like fishing spots, foraging spots, trees, um, the cooking sources, things of those natures, as you see here. And these were all just simply enums that defined what they are, as well as a couple bits of detail like their required tools, what they, yeah. So this is also nothing that I'm angry about. It's easily open to modification. Um, Nothing is fundamentally flagging me here that something is wrong or right. Yeah, I'm not against that. That's not too bad. So next inside of our game engine is the model. And again, or the map, sorry. And again, this one here, I'm not exactly angry with. These ones I know ahead of time have a lot of the list of just basically the details of what makes up a location and a dungeon. So we'll focus more on just kind of breaking down through here, because these abstract classes just list out all of the mobs that are in the area, the trees, the rocks, any of the actions that can be done, like skills, any bits of shopping that can be done, any bits of neighboring regions or neighboring dungeons or ports to travel to, are all here. Whether or not the area has a bank or has a tavern. The bank is obviously about storage. The tavern was more about the games, being able to gamble with your friends, throw some dice, have some cheers, kind of deal. Um, then there's just other properties about the region, whether campfires are lit, the actual ID of it. These are all the abstract lists that you can build from it. The different choices here. So, like, does it have local mobs? Is when it's making some quick checks. And then down here, it's getting the available shopping. So this just returns a list of things like the banks and taverns and whatnot. This is again just returning facts about the areas and the region. So I'm not too upset about those. The region manager, I feel, could be done better, or storage could be done better. But this is where I notify put each of these regions in. So I have Lumbridge inside, and that's where my Lumbridge area is, which is just a location of stuff that's available to do in Lumbridge, and so forth with everything else. Uh, there's a casket, which is, I honestly have nowhere to put it. I don't even like it, but it's here. It's a casket. It was something that was supposed to be there for when you returned from work. You had a random chance to get a chest full of some random loot. This here is what that is. You would get a minimum coin of 50 to a maximum of whatever, um, and the rarity of it. It was supposed to come when you, as a shift reward based off the type of job that you have. Whether you were unemployed, you wouldn't get a casket. If you were one of the first three tiers, you would get common, uncommon, and higher as you go. Um, the casket itself would just be a matter of percentiles. What was your chance of getting it? It was, again, not the cleanest, but not the worst implementation I've done. Um, Store manager. Again, this just kind of points the stores in the direction of what store is what. Um, I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. I feel like it could be done better, but I'd have to relook at the implementations and like interacting with it. So that was the network and the model that we just went over. Processes are not the best implementation. I took this from an old game I was working on before. Um, so this isn't even my implementation. So I would 100% love to rip into this and just rip it out altogether and redo it. Actually, that might be tomorrow's task, is fundamentally changing this, because I'm not a big fan of it. Like it does the job again. Like I have a scheduled executor that executes every one second, um, and it does things. It pumps through a list, processes, executes runnable tasks. It does it on some just straight up runnable tasks. It runs on the main thread. Others it runs on it runs on like an asynchronous task. Some of them, like here, you'll see will be run through it'll create a virtual thread executor and this, that, and the other. I I feel like it could be done better. Same with the rest of these processes are again handled through not the best. Um, I feel like a lot of this should be fully deprecated and removed, just and then again, like cycles, we have an event that technically this is an event that happens. It runs and does stuff. The event handler handles all of the different events and handling of them. Like I've got two different things of doing. These are cycled events that happen every game cycle, which is technically um, every one tick or 1 second. And again, I've got containers for setting these so that and this isn't. I'll be straight with you. This section, this cycles thing, this processes is not even my code. I took it from a game that I was working on at the time with another team. It just so happened to be something that was very very convenient, and it worked to hold thousands of players that were running around and handling stuff. So I thought, good enough for my game thread. Um, but to be fair, here I am looking back at it 2 years later, and I want to throw up. I want to get rid of it. I want to scrap it, and I want to rewrite it because I don't like it. It's not, no. So tomorrow, I think I'm gonna break out the old pen and paper, and or even tonight, I'm gonna be breaking out pen and paper, trying to roughly decide on how it is that I'm gonna change this up because it needs to be done. Um, it's very limiting. I want to use nothing but virtual threads rather than committing to some physical threads. Uh, I just feel like it'll be better. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna rip into that tomorrow. Um, I'm gonna want to rip this whole rune engine out and put it into its own separate model or its own separate module, sorry, so that it can essentially just run and purr like a little kitten and do its thing, while my bot can essentially make requests to it and come back and get results from it, and you know, not be reliant on it. Because like when I run my bot, I turn on the engine, I fire up the Discord bot, I fire up the Discord engine afterwards. Like the engine should be something that's run all the time. And like, yeah, it's not written the best way that it could be, and thus I want to move it out. The other thing we're going to look at here is games. So like the game logic. So I have the activities section where we have the different skilling activities that go on. I feel like this could be probably inside of the game engine as well. Putting in the game logic and the game engine into its own module might be tomorrow's task. Um, and I mean, like each of these are just an activity that runs that takes advantage of the game loop. So this is all skilling activities. I initialize it, it goes through, and then I kick off I say, hey, give me a cycle event handler, and I want to add a game tick event, pass in the Discord embed message, and say that it's a new cycled event, so that this is my this is my runnable code. So on every game tick, this execute method gets called, and I go through and I pass in the container that holds the specific event. So now I handle out my logic, and if at any point I want to stop, I just tell the container that I want to stop this interaction. And when I do so, it breaks out of this on the next game tick, and it executes the on stopped method. So anytime that I come in here and say, all right, we've had enough, stop, return here, finish up this cycle, next cycle, we're going to call this, and it's going to go ahead and set the player to be not busy, throw a little logger for me, and print out and handle whatever is done when we stop the event. Um, this action is something that gets called up here, so that every time every game tick, this happens, and this is where I'm um, building out an updated embed message to fill up the to add an item to someone's inventory, so to speak, so that they can see it. And this is where I go through and basically take care of that. And again, down here, I'm taking care of like adding experience to the person, and then I handle the level up checks. Like this should not be something I'm checking in here. This should be something that as I add XP, if when I'm done adding it, if that happened, then this should be a reaction of that, not something that I have to specifically check and call. Um, so that's something that I would like to extract, because this is in here for every skilling activity, and it shouldn't be. So that's something else that I would like to refactor and take out of here. Uh, and again, it's the same thing in few of these, or in every one of these. Um, After I add the experience, and it's a redundant task. I print a message saying I'm adding experience. I add the XP. I check the level. I update whatever I need to afterward, and then I update the portfolio or profile. Um, so I might be able to slip that out and stick it inside of here, but at the same time, um, I'm already blowing this up with more responsibilities than it should have for skilling activity. Um, like hero client, I don't know why I have this getting the hero and message embed. I should be feel like that might need to be. I don't know. My mind is starting to kind of get a little crazy right now. Um, there's so much of this that needs to get changed, and then there's the combat activity. This is what goes on during combat. Um, each and this needs to be cleaned up as well, because um, it's just a nightmare. This was something that was just literally layered on layered on layer. Like it's not my cleanest code, not my finest moments. Like the combat is handling checking to see if the NPCs need to respawn, and like I feel like I should be abstracting the combat to be that of um, an NPC combat, so that I can handle how NPCs do in their own time, and then I should be handling player combat, so how a player interacts with another entity, which may be another player, maybe another mob. Um, but I feel like there's too much responsibility going on in this one combat class, that I should make this into an abstract class and then make two different flavors of it to tailor to the two different types of combat. And so I believe that is something that I'm 100% going to be doing tomorrow. Um, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Um, Utilities, I'm gonna have to stick those into the API by itself because that'll also be a thing. And like safe runnable, that's gonna you're not even that safe of a runnable. Yeah, no, I gotta do some of this, but yeah. So tomorrow, um, if you've made it this far and you're still here, please hit that like button. Let me know that this was entertaining. Um, tomorrow, tomorrow morning, we're gonna dive more into this. I may or may not be back at this later tonight. I'm gonna be getting ready to go do dinner with my wife and whatnot, but I'll be around in my Discord and I'm gonna pick more at this. But I am also going to be doing this tomorrow morning. We're going to go live and pick at actually moving some of this code up out of the bots module and into its own um, game engine module, so that way we can finish cleaning up and refactoring this project so that it's a lot more up to snuff where it should be. There's so much technical debt in this project, and it's so messy and dirty that I just want to keep cleaning it up and kind of square it up before I start adding new features to it. Because there's plenty of the new things that I want to add. I want to add more dungeons. I want to go in and add more areas. I want to expand the skill tree to fill in some more options like potions and herblore, and I want to get into some other activities with the game. But in order to do that, I need to first clean up all the technical slop that I've got going on right now, because I feel like there's just so much baggage with the broken base that I have that I don't want to add more slop on slop. So, um, yeah, if you're interested in uh, reviewing code and getting it and seeing some more of my embarrassing code for this game, by all means, join me tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button when I go live tomorrow. Join me as we crawl through this nightmare base, and I will make sure you got that keep that curiosity open. Make sure you got your skills sharp, and I'll catch you tomorrow as we dive more into my own embarrassing code.